that you have to learn how to think in the market's perspective. I just simply, as a heading, would say that you have to learn how to think in probabilities. Now, this is really kind of where most traders have their, let's say, have the greatest amount of difficulty. And first, in recognizing what it is, what it means to think in probabilities, and then once they recognize it, implementing some process or series of steps where they're actually retraining their mind to think in probabilities. Now, just before I even get into it, just so you kind of have a little bit of a background, is that our minds do not naturally think that way. Our minds don't naturally process information in a way that will cause us to, let's say, be in harmony with or have, let's say, be in correspondence with the nature of the way the market exists. And so we have to do something very specific to train our minds to think in probabilities if we want to create consistency. The third category is all the, let's say, conflicting energy that exists inside of us. I'm saying conflicting energy, conflicting beliefs, or whatever that would argue against us accumulating vast sums of money as a trader. When we look back and with a little bit of introspection and say, why did this happen? We make trading errors that cause these kinds of drawdowns. If I wasn't conscious of what I was doing and why I was doing it in the moment, I could have very easily let that trade go, and it could have been more than what I anticipated. And the problem is that when we experience these kind of drawdowns, they create psychological damage. They create the kind of psychological damage that's very difficult to recover from. What kind of psychological damage am I talking about? The lack of self-trust. We don't trust ourselves anymore. And when we don't trust ourselves to do what we need to do when we need to do it without any reservation, without any hesitation, what ends up happening is that we end up generating fear. And what we're going to find out in a little bit is that fear has a very insidious effect on our ability to be objective and see what the market is offering us in any given moment. Because we can define the market as this kind of never-ending opportunity flow. And the market's is basically giving us an opportunity in any given moment to get in, add to, detract from, or get out. But it's this never-ending flow. Now, if we're not perceiving it as this never-ending flow, the market's not causing us to perceive it that way. It's what's going on inside of us that's causing us to perceive it as something other than this never-ending opportunity flow. And those are the kinds of internal forces that cause these kind of drawdowns.